Hey everybody, you're listening to the Hisessions Hawaii podcast where we talk about everything local and beyond. I'm John Yamasato, your host, and joining me today is Kyle Shimabukuro.
How's it?
Devon Nekoba. Before we begin, let me remind our listeners of all the ways they can stay in touch with the show. There is Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, all at Hisessions. You can go to SoundCloud, YouTube, and Apple Podcasts to listen to the podcast. And finally, you can email us at hisessions@yahoo.com. If you'd like to help the show get more music on the channel, please go to our Patreon. patreon.com.
Did you say donate?
PA. Yeah, I kind of messed it up.
I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
It kind of is a Patreon, though.
I know, but it's like
A-A-T-R-E-O-N. There you get more involved with the show. And it's going to be pretty cascading because we have 3 artists in a row that we're just going to be like releasing this month because we're trying to get a bunch of content out.
I saw the Imuo one.
Yeah, so we got the Opihi Pickers. Yeah. They just came out. And they had a bunch of songs that they did because they like are one-take wonders, you know?
Yeah.
Wow. And then we have right after them Faith Ako, and then right after that's Jeff Rasmussen, and then it's just gonna be like boom, boom, boom. Like
so with Hisessions when you're recording,
yeah,
if it's a one-take thing, do the artists usually get a chance to add more music to it to get more content?
Well, yeah. So we usually try to get the 4 songs. Everyone does 4 songs.
Okay.
Right. If there's extra time, we can either retake songs, or if they want, we can add songs. Like some artists are like, I only want to do 4 songs. Like I don't want to do more than that. So we're just done, which is fine with us. Some artists want to retake stuff, and then some are just like, OP Pickers are like, oh, we'll do something else, and they just like did another song.
So how much songs did they do?
I think they did 6 songs.
Oh wow,
figures.
Yeah. But the record is John Cruz, who like blasted out like 12 songs and
are you
like
serious?
A full concert.
Yeah. Well, because he's like every single thing is one take. Like it did, you know, it's just like I gotta do another one. This is like this is the next one, and he just kept going.
Do you guys have a bucket list one still that we haven't gotten yet?
No, not really. I know. Well, Dave's big bucket list one was Henry Capono, but we did have him.
Got him, yeah.
Yeah. So no, not really.
I want to see Kovehi come down, get recorded.
Oh yeah.
So if you're listening, Kovehi, reach out to John.
Kawehi would be great. Although she's got high level videography already. I know her husband is pretty amazing.
It would be cool to have it on Hisessions.
That's true. Yeah, you kind of introduce it to a new quote unquote new audience possibly. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. We do have a new Patreon. His name is Randy. Randy, thank you so much for being a patron.
Thanks, Randy.
Thank you, Randy.
Please message me back as to where I can send your T-shirt because I messaged but I haven't got a response back yet.
It's a cool looking shirt, man.
Yeah, so we'll get you a 2024 shirt. And in fact, Kyle, we got to start working on the 2025 shirt. Pretty soon.
Can I put like a dot on it so that I can say that I did a part of the drawing too?
You can actually draw on. I would love for someone else to take.
No. Trust me. Look, see the look Kyle is giving me right now. Hey, there is no way that I'd be doing one of the drawings on this thing. But I like to chime in with my ideas and like I'll put a little dot on it.
It'd be funny if we drew each other and then we put it on a shirt.
Oh yeah.
I'll let him draw you.
Nobody's gonna want this shirt though.
Yeah.
It's gonna be like one good looking drawing and then 2 like stick figures.
All
right. Okay. Kupu Kupu Landscaping. Landscape architects. Call Kevin Yokomura 808-722-8685 for a free estimate, or go to kupukupulandscaping.com. I gotta send a big shout out to Kevin this week because he helped me out on this job at a house in Hawaii Kai. They had to come back twice, so they total 3 times going to the house because the person we were dealing with wanted this trimmed and that, and kept, you know, and he and finally like he just like sat down with them and like, is this okay? Is this okay? Oh. And they kept cutting until it was like perfect for them. Yeah. So
this is the person buying the house or the person?
No, I don't want to out the person, so I can tell you off air. But it was it was
quite a I mean you don't have to give names, just. Like I think I don't understand how it works. Like is the person you're selling this person's house and then they decide how it needs to look.
No. It was a neighbor.
Oh.
Yeah. And we're trying to be good neighbors and goodwill because they did something that helped us out in the transition. So we're trying to
Oh, nice.
And again. She was very pleasant. Mm-hmm. It was, but then she was
very exacting about
very
what she
very
wanted.
specific as to what she wanted.
Yeah, that's fine.
So Kevin, didn't complain. He just kept coming back out and trimming stuff.
Yeah, Kevin, you rock.
All right, and thank you to Fort Ruger Market. So I go back for my mercury test in November. Kyle, I don't know if you're going
Kyle
again.
doesn't
Pretty
care
soon,
already.
I think. But I did cheat and eat a Pokeball.
I
last
think you
week.
ate 2 of them.
No, just one.
That was
So-
a big Pokeball, bro.
It was one.
Yeah. So we'll see how that goes. But in the meantime, with plate A is good.
Yep.
I've been splitting it. So the Kahlua Pig has gotten quite good.
Mm.
It is nice and juicy now
Mm-hmm.
and tasty.
Yep.
So I eat that and the plate A plus the pipi kaula, and then I take the lau lau home and I eat that for dinner. That is my
okay.
normal Tuesday nowadays.
There you go.
Yeah. So I get
He's
2
got it
meals
down
out
to
of one.
science.
Yeah.
Good for you.
And by the way, Crack Seed Store up by Wailai.
Yep.
The icy with the Lihing
Yeah,
Mui
thanks
juice.
for calling us and offering to
Ooh,
get
well,
for
you guys
us.
were in the middle of your stuff, so I don't want to bother you. But man, I forgot the Lihing juice in
Oh,
this thing. Wow.
Lihing
It's-
juice on anything
It's
is
quite
pretty good.
a.
Have you ever had Lihing on anything that was not good? I mean,
No,
I'm sure
it's
there
not
are
that.
things that
It's not that. It's the Lihing juice for this one in particular. Like it's, I don't know. It's been for 20 years. The guys
like
had the
wine
same
already.
Lihing juice, and so it's got a specific tang to it that you cannot get with anything else. And when they put it in this thing, wow, it's just you hit one, you hit a pocket of it, and it's like, oh my gosh, it's really good though.
Sorry, we'll get to Brian in a second.
Sorry, Brian.
I
Sorry,
have
Brian.
I have a
But he
tangent-
knows. He's smiling, so he knows. 'Cause
I have a tangent story.
oh,
So when I was in intermediate school, I went to summer school in Iolani, and then remember Dofang
Yeah.
in
okay.
in Ainahaina?
Uncle Clay.
Yeah. So the slushy machine, the icy machine, when you do it, you used to go like,
Yeah.
you know, like, and then there was this kid in our class that he'd make these sounds like. So we used to call him Dofang. Hey, what's up, Dofang?
bullying.
so
I know.
sad,
so
bro.
mean.
I've been in so much
I
trouble.
feel bad
now.
just laughing at that. That's so mean.
Because that's what you would do.
What if he had some kind of gurgling problem?
I
or
don't know.
something?
Yeah.
Gurgling problem.
I bet you he's like some kind of like genius now or something.
Probably.
Yeah. But
And you know why? Because you guys were.
That's
Motivated
right.
him.
That's right. You
Motivated
motivated
him,
him. Yeah. All right. Our guest today.
And after that tangent,
Our guest today is Bryan Aoyagi from Good Guys Music and Sound, located at Kapahulu. And let's see. So I go there for my music needs. Kyle goes there for his music needs. Devin, I'm
I've been
sure
there,
you've been
yes.
there before,
I've been
right?
there and tried to buy stuff, but I'm not worthy.
You're not worthy.
I'm not
of-
worthy. I look inside that store and I'm like, yeah, this is a beyond my level of experience.
So it's what you would call a mom and pop music store, in that they have used goods, they have new stuff, and you go in there and you talk story. You can sit down and play, instruments and really hang out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
it's
it's like what music stores or instrument stores used to be like, where
Yeah.
you could go in and you could talk to the guys and they know the information and they don't make you feel stupid,
Yeah.
and then you can pick up something that you like.
Brian, what's the percentage of new versus used in your store right now?
I would say it's probably maybe 65-35 new, 65
Oh,
new.
okay. 65 new.
Most of the stuff is new.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I used to like just popping in and seeing what's there. You
And the
always
most
amazed what
interesting
you
stuff
find.
is used.
Yeah.
Because we never know either what's going to
well,
come through the door.
we started talking about this during lunch, and we specifically stopped because we knew we were going to ask this on the pod.
Yes.
But Good Guys apparently started in 1999. What was the impetus of starting your own music store?
Well, myself and my partner, my late partner, Clay Nakasone, used to run Easy Music for Surfco back in the day.
It was a Surfco company?
Yeah. Well, it was a Surfco company.
Wow.
For the longest time, since I think maybe the 50s or something.
So
They used to sell.
Surfco owned Easy Music and
Yeah.
started it.
Yep.
Didn't Surfco own Fender?
That was a more recent acquisition. Yeah.
That's
Okay.
on Toyota.
Yeah. But it's unusual that they own music
They've always
things,
been
right?
Toyota, but they had a appliance music,
Right, yeah.
the store right downtown,
Okay.
and Easy Appliance is what it was called.
Easy.
But yeah, so the music side was a branch of that. So, yeah. So I started in 1979 working there.
Okay.
And Clay was my boss. And that was when we first opened the store out at Gibson's.
Mm.
Yeah. A
Mapuna-puna.
long time ago. Yeah, Mapuna-puna, yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Gibson's, Mapuna, Gibson's, right?
There you go.
Yeah. So, yeah, we stayed there, and then, it was really strange. We moved like probably a half a dozen times in the time that I was there.
Uh-huh. I bought my first Ovation guitar from you guys.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
And in Mapuna-puna. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Well,
I
music
was
stores
there.
typically do that. They do move around quite a bit.
Yeah.
But you were with Easy Music, and then they moved to the Young Street
They
location?
actually originally had the McCully location.
Okay.
Yeah, and they were in McCully. And then they opened the Gibson's Mapuna-puna location. So there were two locations. There was actually 3 locations at one point, because they had the instrument side, musical instrument side, on the Mauka side of King Street.
Okay.
And they had the pianos on the Makai side.
Oh.
So it was kind of interesting. I mean, I used to go there before I started working there, but once I started working there, I was always stuck in Mapuna-puna.
Where did you go? Where did you go to school?
I went to school in Kailua High School.
All right.
Oh, alumni right here.
Yeah. Alumni, baby.
71 though.
Oh, okay, a little bit before me. Just a little bit before me.
Just a
much.
little bit, yeah.
The school
Yeah.
still looks the same though,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
So were you always into music, and then you
Pretty
just started
much.
working in Easy Music and just you
Yeah.
stayed in the music business?
You did the
instead?
madrigals and stuff like that?
No, I never
No,
did the
okay.
madrigals, but after I graduated from high school and stuff, I started playing in nightclubs.
Oh, okay.
Oh, with what band?
A group called PowerPoint.
Okay.
Yeah, we played at the Point after.
I might have
Couple
seen
of
you guys
years.
play then. What kind of
I
music
don't
would
know.
you guys
You
play?
would have had to have.
I used to go to
snuck
Point
in,
After.
probably.
What kind
You're
of
probably too young, I think.
What kind of music did you guys play?
Oh, disco.
Oh, yeah?
It was disco band.
And
yeah.
you played guitar.
Yeah.
Did you
So-
play with Aaron Kimura?
I played with Aaron Kimura after that. We had a wedding band from until about '89, I think. After I left the disco, the nightclub scene in '79 when I got married. I started working at Easy
I was
Music.
like, I didn't see. Yeah, he's like, I got married and then I stopped playing live music.
Did you meet your wife while playing disco in the band
No,
at
no,
Point
no.
After?
I met her when I was in high school, actually.
Oh,
But she went to Punahou, so she's
Oh, Kalo High
Like,
School, Puro.
yeah.
Little man, look at you. All right.
But yeah. So yeah, I quit in '79, and then we for a couple of years, maybe more than a couple of years, I guess, we played in this group called SRO together, which was a wedding band.
I was just wondering because Aaron tells these stories of so it's a disco era, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So he said,
I didn't know Aaron was that old.
yeah, Aaron. So he's not old,
the
but I mean,
70s?
yeah.
He's
Yeah.
But he said
way
that he
younger
would
than
iron his shirt so that the V would come down. You have your exposed chest,
Ew, that sounds
And-
good.
and then the thing would end at your belly button.
Oh.
Is where that thing could open in this V.
Yeah.
And then he said he had his bell bottoms, and I'm like, man,
You had to
just
do
to
that too, Brian.
see you in that
No,
glory.
It's like, Brian had his guitar in front of him. He's like, I ain't doing that. Are you crazy? No wonder you had once you got married, you had to stop.
So you didn't see Aaron in that getup?
No, actually, he played with us for a little while, and then he enlisted. So he went to the mainland for.
That explains
Yeah,
the
he was
ADD
stationed
part.
in the mainland. And he got to
Damn.
play actually at that point with a lot of good.
Yeah.
Good
Oh, he's a
people,
really
so-
good bass player.
Sorry, not ADD, OCD. That explains
Yeah.
the OCD.
Yeah.
yeah.
So, when Good Guys started, what year was that?
99.
you said.
Yeah.
So, what made you transition into Good Guys?
Several things. It was getting harder, working for a large corporation, it's not the easiest thing. There's too many constrictions and too many eyes looking down on you and everything. I mean, I really valued my time there. I learned a lot. So yeah, I don't have any ill feelings or anything like that, but yeah, it was just time.
Yeah.
For both of Clay and myself, both agreed that we should, we don't want to be stuck doing the same thing 20 years from now.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But you have your own hurdles once you start your own business, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, because that's quite an undertaking.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you have to get inventory. You have to, you know what I mean? You have to figure out what to carry. I mean, granted, you'd been working in the business,
Yeah.
I guess, for a long
It was,
time. So
actually, it was an easy transition.
Really?
Yeah.
so you have a
once we
relationship
found-
with the company, the guitar companies already, and all that.
we had the relationship with the vendors, and we had a really pretty extensive clientele that, over the years, 20 years, and he was there for 25 years. In fact, he left the company a month before he was supposed to get his Rolex.
Oh, no.
25 years, they give you a Rolex.
Wow.
He couldn't handle it anymore. He just said, okay, listen. He had some, major problems with them, but
Did you
yeah.
get your Rolex?
no, I was there for 20 years.
Oh.
Only, yeah.
So 20 years with the same company, that's unheard of nowadays.
Yeah.
It really is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's awesome.
But
So-
yeah.
What made you come up with the name Good Guys?
Clay actually came up with it. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. He just, why don't we just call it Good? Okay. And then we found out that there was a major electronics chain in the mainland called Good Guys, but I think we were there first. I think we were there before
So
them.
you never ran into any problems with the trademark name and stuff?
Just people calling us and asking us if we sold a certain television. Nothing
Yeah.
major though. Yeah, pretty much.
And so when you open one of these stores, I would imagine inventory is important. And I guess maybe because you have experience, you know what to, because basically you just stock your store with a bunch of stuff, right? And then people come, and you just knew what to get.
We had an idea. It took us a while. We had good relationships with most of the vendors that we had dealt with while we were at Easy. So it took a little while for us to put everything together. We opened, I think, in August, and there's a NAM convention that happens in January. So we pretty much were waiting for that to happen so we could go visit people and kind of
Explain what NAM is.
NAM is a National Association of Music Merchants.
It's like a big trade show, right?
Yeah.
Huge trade
Yeah.
show.
Yeah. But yeah, so in fact, we had some relationships with wholesalers that did multiple types of inventory, accessories, guitars, and some, microphones, that kind of thing. So we just brought in whatever we could afford to bring in at the time. We didn't have any big name brand guitars. So I actually started to put guitars together for the store. And
Wow.
yeah,
You mean you were building your own custom?
yeah,
Wow.
with our brand on it, but I wasn't actually building them. I was buying the parts from different vendors, all really good parts.
The electric guitar.
Yeah, USA parts, just basically Fender clones, mostly Strats, some Telecasters and stuff. But, we were selling them just kind of to get by. So the margin in them was not that great, but at least we had something,
Yeah.
to put on the wall.
How did
So
you
it's
survive COVID?
We're lucky we were able to get a lot of help, from the grants and that kind of
Oh,
thing.
okay.
You know, just about everything that came around.
You sold online too.
Not so much. Yeah, selling online is kind of a difficult thing.
You really are
Yes.
an old school
Yeah,
store. You're an old school
that's-
music instrument store. Like if
That's-
you want to buy an instrument, you come into the store
Yeah.
and you look around
Yeah.
and you ask, "Hey, can I buy that? Can I buy that guitar?" You go, "Yeah, you can buy the guitar. This is how much it costs. Go get it." And I think I don't know. It would seem that the attention to detail and the service that you provide is different. Because I remember when and again, these two guys actually play guitar. Like I've only in spurts said, I want to learn how to play guitar. And then every time I do, people go, just go to good guys and go talk story with them. Because if nothing else, they have the experience of playing a guitar. They can help you find stuff that's going to work for you. And again, they don't make you feel like an idiot because you can't play guitar. And I remember when I went in, that was the experience that I had.
It's
Was
not
I,
a snobby guitar
yeah,
store.
it was like I walk in.
They let you
and-
play Stairway to Heaven and stuff.
I don't know how to play Stairway to Heaven, but the idea that as a person, or even like if you're learning how to play guitar, I think Good Guys is a place people suggest to
Yeah.
go to, just because it's this small store, so you're not in this gigantic store that's selling all kinds of other stuff, but it's just guys who show you how to buy a guitar. It's sound wise, and from what I understand, you can also service them as well. Is that correct?
We do
Yeah.
minor servicing, nothing, major. We don't do any fret work or anything like that. But yeah, the setups and some.
But the nice thing about them is if they can't do it,
Backups or
though,
something.
they have a Rolodex of people who they know can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's how I met the guy who works on my guitar.
Yeah, and that's the other thing is the guitarists who need work on their guitars go see the guys at Good
Yeah,
Guys,
yeah.
right? If you have a question about how you get it serviced or how you get this specific thing, you guys know where to go get it from, and that's based on 30 years of. It's been 30 years, yeah, almost
25 years.
25. Yeah, but 25 years, almost 30 years of servicing people who need help with their guitars,
Pretty much. That's pretty much it.
which is
Yeah,
an interesting niche to have.
That's pretty much what our whole, concept was. We never wanted to be any more than a neighborhood business.
You think that's the key that kept you guys around for so long? Because we were just talking during lunch how there's no longer Harry's, there's no longer Island Guitars, there's no longer local mom and pop guitar shops or music shops. What do you think that's what was your reason? What do you think the reason is that you guys are still around today and successful?
Well, I think in the past you could survive that way, I gotta, be honest and say that we're pretty much surviving by the skin of our teeth at this point. Every month is like a test for us. And, I guess because I own the place, I'm more privy to all the business side of it. But the guys that I have working for me are very much in touch with the service side of it. And they're real friendly guys, and they really want to
They're
help.
good guys.
Yeah, they're good guys. Yeah, I mean that's the criteria. If you want to work there, you got to be. So, yeah. Hopefully, we can continue. In the past, you could do this, and you could make a living, and you could, But the way things have been, what the turning point was actually 2008, when the big.
Big box stores came in.
No, actually, it was the
Amazon.
Recession that we had. When the war happened and everything, and yeah, all of a sudden everybody was holding on to everything. They didn't want to spend any money. That was a milestone, kind of a negative milestone for I think most of the businesses
Not having disposable income
Yeah.
that makes sense.
But it's interesting because during COVID, everybody had disposable income, but they didn't let it go. People were holding on to a lot of the money, and then they started spending it sort of indiscriminately and saying, okay, well, I need to pick up a new habit because I'm just sitting in my house
I
contemplating my navel. So I guess I better.
bought 2 guitars online during COVID for no reason at all other than that I was bored sitting at home. And now I regret buying one of them.
I met with 2 clients in the last 2.5 weeks, and they both have dogs. I'm like, oh, when did you get the dog? They're like, during COVID.
Yeah.
It's a COVID dog. Yeah. So that was an interesting time, man. People were buying GameStop stock and doing all kinds of stuff because they had cash on hand and nowhere to spend it. But
just pure boredom just made me spend money.
Question for you too. Do you have a family? And
Yeah.
how many children do you have?
I have 2 boys.
2 boys. Are they?
They're grown up.
They're grown up. So do they play guitar as well? I mean, was that something that was?
One of my sons plays a little,
Okay.
but
So was it something that was necessarily important for you? Like you didn't have them coming to the store and learning all this kind of stuff. No, wasn't anything.
It's one of those things. I think when you have it around you as you're growing up, you take it for granted and you don't really care about it.
Like John's kids.
That's what I was going to ask you too, Brian. Is like being around a guitar shop every day is like, to me, like being in a candy store. But do you find yourself playing that instrument more now, being around it, or do you find yourself playing less?
Way less. Actually, I would say that when Clay was alive, when he kind of took the helm of running the store and setting rules and whatnot, and basically one of the rules that we had was, don't sit around and play guitar. If you have time to do that, you have time to do other stuff. Clean up, or
well, as they say in McDonald's, time to lean, time to clean.
Yeah. But so pretty much that's the way that I was kind of brought up.
Now let me ask you this,
business,
because you grew up in guitar mecca time of American history, right? Because you 60s, 70s, right? So did your kids play Guitar Hero?
No.
Oh, okay. Because I was gonna think like.
Oh, you said already they don't really they don't have any real interest.
But you ever tried that?
Well, Devon had it at his house. That's how I know about it.
He showed me. He goes, check this out. You're probably gonna be, you're probably catch on to this real fast. I was like, what is that? And he goes, just try follow it. And I'm like, this is not guitar. This is like tapping on a little lever back and forth.
Did you guys ever see the South Park episode about Guitar Hero?
No.
Oh my God! It's one of the best Guitar Hero episodes ever.
Why?
Guitar Hero.
Because it's like Sam and Kyle they start playing Guitar Hero and then they get super good, and then like this agent comes and he's like, I can take you guys to the top, and at some point they got to kick one of them out of the band because he's not as good, but there's this one part where, and that's what I was thinking of Brian, because I was thinking the kids are like jamming right to all these rock songs on the Guitar Hero, and then the dad comes in, he's like, hey, these are songs from my day, and he like actually starts playing it on a guitar, and they're like, that's lame, Dad. They're playing it on the guitar here, like they don't care about the guitar, even though that's a real guitar kind of thing. So I thought maybe you'd have a similar experience.
Not so much. Just they weren't really interested. Yeah.
How old are they now?
My older boy is 40, almost 40.
Oh gosh. Okay.
So none of your kids are interested in taking over the shop or taking over the family business?
No.
No?
Yeah, they're in their 40s already, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. Like I don't know what your plan is, but when you retire, there's an abundance, and this is I was reading this on Twitter back when it was Twitter, but they were talking about how not necessarily your generation, but the generation before you, so the boomer generation, a lot of the wealth or the opportunity is coming from these companies that the founders are older, they're ready to move on and retire or whatnot, but they have no heir, and they have no one who's interested in taking over the company, so they're just gonna let it fizz out or whatever.
Well,
So
there's a lot of restaurants and stores that are going out of business just
and,
because
and these
people
are
don't wanna-
legitimate businesses that make money, but just because of the dynamic of the family, no one wants to take it over. They're doing other things, and so it was just saying, it was an article talking about how that's an opportunity for someone who may want to work hard.
Yeah.
Have
But I'm looking at him and he's like, "This is a lot of work, man."
It's do you find it super challenging nowadays with just accessibility of getting the instruments?
well, Kyle, just in the last 5 minutes we were talking, you said during COVID you bought 2 guitars online.
But what I didn't like about it is when it came, because I couldn't touch and feel it and try it out beforehand.
Right.
It made me disappointed. So now I want to go to a guitar shop and pick up a guitar because I want to hear how it sounds. Because even if it's the same model number or whatever, it does have a difference in sound and feel. Right?
So now you can sell those 2 guitars to good guys on consignment, and then you can buy a different guitar.
Yeah, I want to get rid of one of them really badly.
There you go. They have because good guys does do consignment, correct? If I remember correctly.
We do some consignment, a lot of trade-ins, and we do buy.
There you go.
Yeah.
Time
We
to
got you
time.
covered.
But that's a good point, though. During COVID, not during COVID, but right after COVID, people had already gotten used to going online and buying guitars. And we saw a lot of guitars that were purchased on Amazon or Musician's Friend or whatever come to us.
That was me.
For setups. yeah, the guitar, they get the guitar, it's unplayable.
Yeah.
They got to take it someplace to have it adjusted and
Yeah.
set up.
That's how I met Chris at your store.
Yeah.
I walked in. I was like, "Can you fix this guitar?"
But yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know if that was to our credit or to our detriment, but
Well, Dennis works with you too.
Dennis Maeda?
I don't remember Dennis's last name. He used to work at House of Music.
Yeah. He passed away a while back.
Oh.
That's right. Okay, I did know that. But yes,
Yeah.
so Dennis sold me that guitar, which is off camera, but that's my Pure Heart guitar.
The Takamine.
Uh-huh.
And I just remember because so he had the opposite problem because back then you couldn't order online, in the 90s. And so I would see a guitar in a catalog and I'm like, man, I really want to, that looks like a great guitar, but I don't know what it sounds like. So I'd be like, Dennis, can you order this guitar? And then he ordered it, and then I would get it and be like, it just doesn't have the right sound.
Oh, I hate you.
So-
I hate people like that.
So at a certain point, I remember I had it down to like this last guitar and then that one, and then I was like, I don't know, and I'm going back and forth. She's like, you are buying one of these 2 guitars. I was like, oh, okay. So I'm like trying them out, and then I picked that one.
Okay, so tell me.
Thank goodness. So
Yeah,
you
now
sold
you've
me
had
the-
that one for 30
Tell me,
Yeah.
tell me if this is an unusual guitar player here, because John has that Takamine right there from Pure Heart days. He buys a new guitar, and he goes, "Check this out! I bought a new guitar." I go, "That's the same exact guitar. You just bought a newer,
It's not
same
the
exact
same.
guitar." So, do you find that musicians like him do stick to a certain brand and model number throughout the years, or do they experiment and try different things?
A lot of
Because for
people-
me, I buy different things because, well, for one, I'm not Johnny Yamashita. I suck at guitar, but I like to play different instruments, like different model numbers or different brands.
the feel is different for you too.
I like to also look at it too. That's why. But is he unusual, or is that what you see with musicians?
No, there's guys that have a favorite brand, and they, sometimes they'll, like if you had the guitar for 30 years, there must be a lot of fret wear on it and everything.
Oh yeah, no, I had to have Ty redo the whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, a lot of guys will buy something as a backup in case you have to have it refretted again, and you just have a guitar to play.
Did you ever try different models though, or did you just stuck with that one?
No, I never really found another guitar that has the same sound as that guitar. I would buy that same guitar again if I could, but they don't make it anymore. It was
So the
kind of
new
a limited
Takamine
run.
you have doesn't even sound close to that.
No, yeah. I mean, even like I took it to when we were doing a Pure Heart tour last year, I brought it with me to a couple of gigs because, Jake brings these like really good sound people, right? And so I was like, hey, can you help me? Because now you can do a lot of things electronically. You can make guitar sound pretty good with the electronics. But even trying to fiddle with all the EQs and stuff, I couldn't get it to sound good. So I have this Takamine now that I don't know what I'm going to use it for, but it just couldn't.
You can give it to me. I'll learn how to play guitar.
Yeah. And then, So
once you found that magic guitar, you've been chasing it ever since to find
Yeah, kind of. I mean, now I don't really care as much anyway because... Well, no, but what's funny was I had this Ovation guitar that my parents gave me, and I left it on Maui. So if I was ever there and I had gigs, I could play that guitar, instead. And one time I had a gig, and then they put it in the storage with all the bee stuff, and it had like wax all over the. I was like, oh my god! So I went to Bounty Music on Maui. I don't know if you guys know Bounty Music. I just bought this $800 guitar that was just a Takamine that I just was like, okay, this seems okay. That's the guitar that I've been using 20 years with Herb.
Oh.
And it sounds fine.
So you use the Pure Heart stuff with that guitar, and you do the stuff with Herb.
Yeah, I have a Herb guitar and I have a Pure Heart guitar.
But you have 3 Takamines then.
Yeah, and then I have a third Takamine that's somewhat newer that I wanted as a backup to my regular Takamine, but it's not gonna cut it. So it's just kind of I leave it in slack key so I can play slack keys.
Brian, this is the part about it, because I'm sure with your store you've had people come in and out. I mean, really big time musicians who want to pick up a specific guitar. Can you hear the tone that they're talking about? Because
he's a guitar player. You can hear the tone too.
No, not necessarily. I'm just curious, because I, as a layperson, I can't hear anything. I hear him play this guitar. I hear him play the other guitar. His Herb guitar sounds exactly the same to me.
Is it more feel and action, or is it more the sound?
It's more the sound.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So, Brian, I'm curious if you can, if he comes into you, brings that Takamine, starts playing it, and you go, okay, I get what you're saying in terms of sound. I mean, can you hear that kind of thing?
I won't answer for him, but no.
Just out of curiosity.
You're talking about what comes out of the PA when you play, or what comes out of the guitar amplified or acoustically?
See, and that's why I said no, because it's what comes out of the PA.
Yeah.
Like acoustically, I had this beautiful Taylor guitar that sounded amazing acoustically, but I couldn't get it to sound good in the PA. That's the one that I sold it to Pimentel.
Okay.
But for what he does, it works out really good. Sounds good, But for the way I play, it doesn't work.
So what is that?
It's the way you play then.
What is that? Is it? Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I've heard you play, and you play the bass line and everything. So I mean, to get a guitar that can do what he wants it to do is not going to be normal. It's not going to be like what any other guitar player wants it to do.
Do you have a guitar in mind at your shop that you carry that he might be interested in having like that top?
Yeah, I'm curious about that, because
is there something you want him to try out? This is kind of see if he can stretch his creativity of getting another brand or something.
It's hard because like most of we carry Takamine, although we're probably not going to carry it anymore because they don't want to give us any kind of a freight deal. Mm-hmm. Freight is ridiculous coming from the mainland. But, yeah, most of the guitars we would carry would be kind of more of a general kind of thing, and we don't really carry anything that is like specialized. Like, with the guitar thing, like he said, he had a Taylor, and he didn't really care for it. And it's a really like personal kind of thing where I know guys that love Taylors, and I know guys that hate Taylors, and it's mainly because of the electronics.
Mm-hmm. And the electronics,
the pickups inside.
Yeah.
Because they sound like acoustically, they all sound pretty good.
Yeah.
It's just
I'm trying to get that answer from
even a Takamine, like if you bought the same exact model, like 10 years apart, chances are the electronics are going to be vastly different.
Is it because of they decided to use different components for the guitars and it's not picking up specific things?
No, they just change it to make it different so they can charge more money for it. For the most part, because you're going to have to charge more anyway because your costs are going up, right?
Mm-hmm.
So where you might have had a certain preamp, they say, the new CT4B2 preamp or whatever,
right.
And it might be...
like that one, my preamp died after 20 years, whatever. So I had to get new electronics, and I was super worried that it wasn't going to work, but it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not what it was when I first bought it, too.
Really?
A lot of guys like the first generation Takamine electronics.
And I'm not as crazy as Barry Flanagan.
Well, nobody's as crazy.
Like Barry,
sorry, Barry, but it's true. Like, and crazy is not the right word. I think it's more exacting. Very, very specific. They want very specific things.
Well, the thing about him is he has that guitar with the hole in it, right?
Yeah,
that he's been
right.
playing for
He has a special
40
sound.
something years, and that's not. It's a very specific guitar and it's not a high end guitar either.
Yeah.
So he's told me like, because I bought a guitar from him that he had Steve Grimes make to try to emulate his whole guitar, but it's still, even Steve Grimes, who's an amazing guitar maker, couldn't make it sound what he needed, And so, I think somehow he ended up getting that guitar back. It went all around anyway, but yeah. So he has a very specific tone that he's looking for.
Okay, the thing I'm trying to make sure our audience understands that I'm trying to get out of Bryan and get out of you, get out of Kyle, is as a person who doesn't play guitar, I have no idea what you're talking about when you're saying it needs to sound a specific. You know what I mean?
Well, like
because I hear
it's like you and microphones.
No, and I'm saying that as a person who uses my voice for that stuff, I can't really tell with microphones. But when you talk,
it's like you and ice cream.
Anyway, when you're talking about a guitar, right? This guitar here, which you bought, which you have tuned to a specific way, right? Because that way they're all tuned differently. By the way, all the ones that we have here, this sounds different to you in your ear than your Takamine will sound, than the other guitar you would have, right? These don't have.
But I don't really care acoustically.
Yeah. And but that's what I mean. That's the part I'm trying to.
But if you
get people to understand.
If you strum this guitar, and you strum that, you're gonna hear the difference. I guarantee, you're gonna hear the difference. Like, we can do it after the podcast. You can tell something like this size versus what he has over there.
But
you close your eyes and tell.
And like so what I'm looking for is a very non-mid-rangey guitar, because I want a very low tone and I want a very high tone, like because I'm doing boom chicka boom.
It's like he was saying, right? Because you play the bass notes as well as everything else.
And so like the Takamine did not have that low end, no matter how much I tried to boost the, because you try to boost it electronically, the low sound, and then what happens is you have a very mid-range guitar. The mid-range also gets, the low mid-range sound also gets boosted, and then you get starting to get feedback and stuff because it's catching into the speaker or whatever that so you just can't make it work. Versus like that guitar, I just plug it in, it sounds exactly it doesn't have a really strong mid-range.
Okay, so now taking all that into consideration, Bryan, as the person who owns the Good Guys guitar thing, my question to you is then, how do you go about helping somebody find that sound? If John comes into your store and says, I need to find a guitar that does this, do you say, okay, well, try this guitar? Can you think of in your inventory, you got like 4 or 5 different guitars, you can say, okay, we'll try this. I mean, how does that work?
Most guitars within a certain frequency range are the same. For what John would want, I would probably think maybe some outboard gear, like some sort of an EQ or something like that, where you can adjust whatever frequencies you want to adjust.
And would that be a pedal, or would that be something that's on the guitar?
It could be a pedal. It could be a rack unit. It could be. There's various ways of.
And the hard part is like, because I'm always every time I'm either at in Kapahulu, I'll stop by there. If I'm at Dan's, I'll stop, I'll play his stuff. And they do allow you to plug stuff in, but you're plugging something in on a 10-inch speaker that's sitting in front of you. But I need to hear it like on a big sound, because I'm gonna be on a big stage with like monitors and stuff. So then I would love to go home and crank it up, and then come back and go, okay, I want that. But it's kind of so you try to get it as well as you can in the store, and then you go home and you try it out. But that's why I think what's nice about the music scene or even is that there's a lot of like trade and sales and things that go on, and you used to have the Easy Music swap meet in the parking lot and stuff, and I think that's why it's there, because you can't you always got to try things out, and over time your tastes change and how you like things change, and you like this, you like that, and so I want to get that and try this. And when I started, there was no such thing as a carbonite guitar. Now they have the carbonite guitars, and so like Lloyd from Manoa DNA loves
P
that
has
thing.
one of those, right?
Yep. So I'm sorry. Oh, P
right?
plays one of those too. Yep.
It was weird too, because he actually had the hole covered because the sound was coming out through the electronics, I guess. And I was like, what the heck is that thing? He said, oh, there's a little thing on here that it goes. That's amazing. The idea that they would create that kind of stuff. But
yeah. And now Kyle got a guitar that you can karaoke off of.
Because it's got the echo and everything. That's right.
I found this brand called Enya.
Yeah.
So I just purchased the little one for now, and I actually have the big one coming now. Because I heard the big one you can put a distortion on it without even plugging it in. I'm not a musician. I just fool around at home, and that's all I want to do is lie on the couch and play music, So that's the reason why I bought that.
Which means he's a musician, but
and that's a nice life, because he can do that. If I buy a guitar, I have to go to my wife and be like, hey, I'm thinking of getting this thing, and it's like,
well, because you also buy guitars that cost like $2,000.
Yeah, I don't buy.
He buys like a $300 guitar.
I just told you my Herb guitar is an $800 guitar. I've been using it for 20 years.
Yeah, but you also bought that other guitar that you bought off Barry Flanagan.
Yeah, that was an expensive.
Was not $800. I guarantee you that.
That was an expensive.
Not to mention your Kamako ukulele.
Yeah, that was a limited edition.
But that was a investment.
Speaking of ukuleles, now you were known as a guitar shop back in the day, and the ukulele fad got super huge and stuff. You have a tremendous collection of ukuleles too in your shop, right now. What are you selling most of, ukuleles or guitars right now?
I think ukuleles, if you're looking at individual instruments, ukuleles probably, because they start at like $60,
Well, what are some of the hot? I know everyone wants a Kamaka, but what are some of the other hot brands that people want to get?
Oh, we saw a lot of Kala and Leilani ukuleles, because they're in that $100 to $200 range.
Yeah.
You
So
can get
mostly
like a nice
intermediate beginner ukulele players buying it.
high-end stuff doesn't move as quickly. A lot of it is probably because the Japanese have not come back yet. There's a lot of.
Were you getting a lot of Japanese tourists?
Yeah, we used to get quite a bit.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Kapahulu, that's why, because they walk all the way. They'll walk from the zoo all the way to Leonard's.
So in between that, you can get sales.
Yeah.
And they're all, guitar store.
Because I used to work in that, and you see it, not just Japanese tourists, just all tourists will walk from that route, So.
Well, I went to a guitar shop in Japan. It was right across a Don Quixote, and I don't know, I was tired of walking around Don Quixote, so I walked up and I went, hey, guitar store. And I went across the street, and it was crazy in there because they had all these like super high-end guitars that were like $25,000, and then they had, a $200 guitar. And I was like, when you're in this store, how do you decide what to do? And I guess it must be kind of like walking into your store, because you walk in and you're going to see stuff on the wall that's higher vintage, and then you're gonna see something that maybe a beginner could pick up, right?
Yeah.
And it's specifically designed that way.
Yeah, or we generally try and stock what we can sell. So and at this point it's mainly beginner, intermediate stuff. The high end stuff doesn't move as freely, and we're not really known for that anyway. I think like Dan's has all that Paul Reed Smith and stuff.
So is it more acoustic guitar stuff that moves, or is it more electric stuff? Is it kind of a mix between the two?
Kind of a mix.
I
Yeah.
have one more question before you ask your last question.
Okay.
Did you ever have a treasure find in your shop? Like a guitar that somebody brought in and you had a hard time selling it after you got it or acquired it? Or did you acquire it yourself? Was there ever anything unusual? The most unusual thing that came into your shop, or the most treasured thing that came into your shop?
We've had a lot of weird stuff. Actually, we've had some unusual things that have come through, but I don't usually take it home or buy it for myself.
Kyle's dream.
Yeah.
Yeah, the store would make no money. They'd be broke already.
What was the most unusual thing that came in?
Well, I can think of. We've had a couple of original '60s bass 6 Fenders that have come through. Bass 6 is like a 6-string Fender bass, very rare.
A 6-string bass?
But back when they came in, there wasn't such a huge vintage guitar market here. So we sold them for probably about maybe a quarter of what they would sell for now.
Wow.
But this is like, back in the early 2000s or up to 2010.
What do you do with a 6-string bass? I don't understand.
Dude.
Do you play him more like a guitar or what?
You name yourself Nathan Avial and
Oh,
rip.
yeah. Yeah, but Nathan's a beast. He's a freak. Sorry, Nathan, it's true. But I mean, is it the idea that you can hit higher notes, lower notes?
No,
You
it
can
goes lower.
Huh?
It goes lower.
It goes lower.
Yeah.
Normal 6-string bass, you have a low B string
Okay.
and a high C string,
Okay.
which is like expands the range both ways.
Yeah.
On the Fender 6-string bass, it was tuned more not so low. It didn't have like a low B. I don't think that's how most people tuned it. It's just a unique instrument. There's something that not too many people play. And actually they came out with a Squier, repro cheaper model, and those things were really
If you come across
popular.
a 6-string Fender bass right now, like that vintage, what is it going for?
Probably sell for $15,000, maybe something like that.
Nathan, I come in your house, I'm going to steal your bass.
Do you think the vintage instrument market, so during COVID, all the baseball cards took off in value, all the collectibles, do you think this is still a market that could see some upside just because with AI and all this stuff, I think there's going to be a value in rarity of things?
I think the vintage market will be alive as long as people my age are alive.
So you think
Or
the
actually,
younger people not interested?
I think they have no interest at all.
Really?
That kind of makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Because they didn't grow up with the Beatles.
Yeah.
Or-
But don't you think that the vintage has a certain sound that can't be replicated, though?
Yeah, but the only people that would recognize that would be
The older people.
Yeah.
people that grew
That's
up
true.
with that, and people that grew up seeing that and wanting it, but maybe weren't able
Because
to afford it.
they're listening to iTunes songs that are like in this range.
Right,
There's
right,
no
right, right,
way.
right, right.
They cut off everything else. So
Yeah, you got to think about because right now, so Star Wars is a big deal, right? But that's because Devon is now at the age of his highest earning or whatever, not
anymore.
Well, I mean, at that, right,
Yeah,
and that your generation is now in that range, right? So you got to think like the generation after you is going to be that. What were they into, and then after that, right? So,
Kyle, I saw on Facebook they had a Kikaira side machine, $175, bro.
What is
Go buy
that?
'em. It's a remote control with the Kikaira on it.
I don't own one Kikaira toy. You want me to buy it so you can play with it, huh?
Yeah, pretty much.
all right, okay, Brian. Okay, so we've gotten to the part of the show that we ask all of our guests this. So put your thinking cap on. We are a music channel. If you were stranded on a desert island for the rest of eternity and could only bring 3 albums to listen to for the rest of time, what would those 3 albums be?
That's a good question. Probably a Hendrix.
Okay. Are you experienced or?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Actually, maybe 2 Hendrix songs: Electric Ladyland and Are You
Oh,
Experienced?
okay.
And 3 albums, huh? Probably. It's a really good question because I hardly ever listen to music.
The third one is always the hardest one.
Yeah.
I think everyone can rattle off 2.
Hawaiian music.
Probably not Hawaiian music. Maybe George Benson or something.
The Breezin' album?
Breeze.
or
Yeah, maybe
Breezin'?
Breezin'.
Okay.
Has some good songs on it.
Okay. Oh,
Good guitar
can
playing.
I do an offshoot?
Yeah,
So
sure, man.
If you're on that deserted island, you gotta take 3 guitars with you. You can take brands, but what three guitars do you take?
John's Takamine and
if you can think of, or
I'll be like, where the hell's my Takamine?
yeah. Think of a couple.
Yeah, I mean, desert island. Would I have an amplifier on that?
Yeah.
You can have an amplifier. That's fine. We'll
The
give you the
biggest amplifier
I don't know where
you
you're
can
gonna plug it
possibly
in, but you can have an amplifier.
I'd probably take a Telecaster.
Mhm.
That's
do you
kind
own
of
one for
been-
yourself right now?
Oh yeah,
Oh.
I have multiple.
Like John.
Is it so? Telecaster is specific.
Fender.
That's the
it's
Fender.
a Fender style
Okay.
guitar. Maybe a Stratocaster too, I guess.
Okay, Strat, and then
And like a ES 335. You know what that is?
No, what brand is that?
It's a Gibson. It's a semi-hollow, double cutaway. I think Larry Carlton is kind of famous for playing one. There's other guys too, but I can't think of anybody off the top of my
Do
head.
you own that too?
Yeah.
so basically all the guitars in your house would be gone.
I collected quite a few. Yeah.
Cool.
So great. Well, thanks, man. Thanks for coming on. We love good guys and
Thank
keep
you.
the music alive. It's always nice to have a place where you can actually go, because it also, like, you get into a point like, oh, so I need this today. You know, I can't run out and order this online.
What's your address and your website?
It's 619 Kapahulu Avenue. GoodGuysMusicHawaii.com.
Okay. All right. And so to the rest of our listeners, we will see you next week.
Take care.
Have a good one.
Thank you.